Perfect. Fix the view real quick. And so, like I was saying before, the goal for today is going to be to work towards some back bends. And I just started recording, so I'm reiterating some of the stuff that we already said. But the focus of today's is going to be opening up the front side of the body. So that's the hip flexors, the chest, and even the shoulders. Just to kind of balance some of that, some of the quarantine life.
Yeah.
All right. So however you want to stay comfortable, let's just sit up nice and tall. And then we can allow the eyes to close for a moment. Beginning to tune in to the sounds, the smells, and the temperature of the space around you. And from there, begin to notice the backside of our, we notice all those points of connection between our bodies and the ground. And so notice ourselves sitting firmly in whatever position that is. As we begin to tune into the body, scanning from the top of the head all the way down to the soles of the feet, and just noticing how your body's feeling right now. Not only what we're feeling in our joints and our muscles, but also what we're feeling in our bellies and our heads. And beginning to tune into the breath, just noticing without changing anything, what's your natural breathing pattern like right now? Noticing how fast or slow, how deep or shallow each breath is traveling. And then from the breath, we start to tune into the mind, noticing what's on your mind. Noticing the volume of thoughts, both in terms of the amount of thoughts passing by, as well as the intensity of those thoughts. Are there things screaming at you right now, or is your mind nice and quiet? And it's from this place of awareness that we'll start to take a nice deep inhalation through the nose, holding it in for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, sigh out of the mouth. All right, let's go ahead and open those eyes. We're gonna inhale, reaching the arms all the way up to the sky. And then the right hand comes down, reaching that left arm over to the right. Inhale, reaching both arms back up. And then exhaling over to the left. And inhale, reaching all the way back up. And then we release the hands down to the mat. If you're kneeling, go ahead and come onto your bum, but let's uncross the legs. We're gonna roll onto our backs for a moment. And since we are doing a good amount of back bends, we wanna find a little core engagement. And so with the arms down long by our sides, and the feet are flat on the ground, start to lift your chest, lift those shoulders up. Try to make a little C, so firm up your belly like somebody's standing on your torso. And now we keep that as we bring the right knee into the chest and the left leg out nice and long. Again, keep those shoulders up, nice firm belly. And then let's switch sides, left knee in, right leg extend out long. Giving it a nice big hug. All right, let's switch again, right knee in, left leg out. And switching. Yeah, bringing both knees in and then lower the feet down into the mat. And the feet are hip distance apart, just close enough to touch with our fingers. All right, so you can place your hands on the hips for just a moment. So when I say, when I talk about tucking your tailbone under, you're trying to find that flattening of your back once again. So start to tuck your tailbone under, lift the hips up to the sky for a little bridge pose. And then one vertebrae at a time, come all the way back down. Okay, now arch your back while you're on the mat. And then we're gonna reverse it. So tuck your tailbone under, lift the hips up to the sky. Slowly lowering down, and again, arch your back. Last time, lift those hips up into a bridge. Place one vertebrae down at a time and tuck that tailbone under, arching the back. And lowering down. All right. From here, if you like, you can rock forward and back a couple of times, but we're gonna make our way onto all fours. However feels good for you. All right, from here, we'll find our cat and cow pose. So starting off on our tabletop, nice wide fingers. On our inhale, we drop the belly, lifting the chest, look forward. And as we exhale, hollow out the belly, rounding the chin in. 2 more times like that, inhaling into our cow pose. Exhaling into cat. Last time, inhaling cow. And exhaling cat. Okay, go ahead and find that neutral spine. We're gonna extend the right leg back and lift the toes up, reach those left fingertips forward. Good, nice. Now again, firm up that belly, maybe lift up a little bit higher. And then on the exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reaching out nice and long. Exhale, knee to elbow. Last time, inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. You're gonna go ahead and release the hand down as we take the other side. So left leg and right arm reach out long. Pausing here again, finding that balance. And then on your next exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach and lift a little bit taller. Exhaling in. Last time, extend and contract. Yeah, go ahead and lower the hand and knee back down. From here, come all the way down onto our bellies. Tops of the feet are on the mat, hands are right next to the chest. Yeah, hug those elbows in, and then we inhale, lift our chest into cobra. On the exhale, sit back and down into our child's pose. Yeah, keep those arms out nice and long though, and then as we inhale, come all the way into your belly, lifting the chest, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Last time, inhaling cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Yeah, pausing here for a few breaths. If you feel any tension in your neck, you can even gently roll your head from side to side across your forehead. All right. From our child's pose, we make our way back up to all fours. Coming into one more little modification from on our tabletop. So go ahead and reach out nice and long, right leg, left arm. On our exhale, tapping knee to elbow. You're gonna reach out nice and long. Now this time, start to bend into the back knee. Reach your left hand back for the heel, but don't touch it. 3, 2, 1. Reach out nice and long, front to back. And lower the hand down. Other side, left leg, right arm. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach out long, bend into that back knee. Reach the right hand back. 3, 2, 1. Extend out nice and long. And lower the hand and knee down. We'll find a plank pose from here, holding our plank for 5 full breaths. So nice wide fingers, pressing all those knuckles down into the ground. Yeah, try to round the upper back slightly, spread those shoulder blades wide. And on your next exhale, downward facing dog. Yeah, feel free to take the feet a little bit wider, taking whatever movements feel good in your body. And as we start to find stillness in our down dog, you are more than welcome to bring a bend into the knees. Yes, keep shifting those hips up and back though. All the knuckles in contact with the mat in our hand. And from here, we walk the hands back to the back of the mat, finding ourselves in the forward fold, keeping that bend in the knees. If you want, you can grab opposite elbow, maybe even just gently swaying from side to side. All right, and then with a nice deep bend in the knees, we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way up to stand. Awesome. Inhale, we reach the arms all the way to the sky. On our exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway lift, finding a flat back. And then we bring the hands to the mat, walking all the way out into our plank, pausing here. And then we lower the knees down, lower halfway down into our chaturanga, holding for 3, 2, 1, release to the mat. Inhale, lifting our chest into cobra. And exhaling, downward dog. From our downward dog, we'll lift that right leg up to the sky. And then step the foot all the way forward between the hands, pausing in our lunge. And we'll bring that back knee down onto the ground. And then from here, if we can place our right hand into this right hip, imagine gliding that hip back. You can keep it there if you want, or release it back down. Yeah, squeeze that left glute for one more breath. And we lift the back knee up, stepping back into our plank pose. Shifting forward past the wrist as we lower the knees, lower halfway down, holding, and releasing to the mat. Inhale, lifting into our cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. Other side, left leg floats to the sky. And stepping it forward between those hands, pausing here. Lowering that back knee down, and again, glide that left hip back. And as we're here, imagine pulling those shoulders back, opening up the front of the chest. This rounding forward motion is what we find ourselves doing a lot of today. So we're willing to open up, pull those shoulders back for one more breath. And then we lift the back knee up, stepping back into our plank. Shifting forward as we lower through chaturanga. You can use the knees if you like, all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lifting into our cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. From our downward dog, we'll start to walk the feet all the way to the front of the mat. Bending the knees as much as we need in our forward fold. Relax the head, relax those shoulders. And just as we did before, nice deep bend in the knees, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, coming all the way into stand. Awesome. On our inhale, we float the arms up to the sky. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. On the exhale, hands come to the mat, stepping that right foot all the way back into our lunge. Now let's pause here, planting that right hand down into the ground. As we float the left fingertips up to the sky, you can lower that back knee if you need to. Otherwise, keep it nice and straight for one more breath. Exhaling the hand down to the mat, stepping back into our plank, finding your chaturanga. Inhaling into our up dog this time, and exhaling, downward dog. From downward dog, we lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it forward between the hands, pausing here. Again, either straight back leg or bring it down to the mat. Let's float those left fingertips up to the, right fingertips up to the sky. One more breath. Releasing the arm down to the mat as we step to the front of your mat. Inhaling halfway, lift flat back. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, we reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, hands to the heart. And release. Good. So we're going to start off the same way, but we're going to transition into our V variation. So yeah, keep those feet about hip distance apart. Let's inhale the arms up to the sky. And then bring them behind our back, interlacing the fingers. On the inhale, open the chest to the sky, looking up. Keep the fingers in the lace as we forward fold. Make those hands fold over your shoulders. Yeah, but bend into those knees. There we go. Relaxing the head for one more breath. Nice deep bend in the knees, finding our chair pose. Reach those arms forward and up, pausing right here. So we're really big about keeping those knees pressing wide, regardless of how wide the feet are. And then from here, start to bend into those arms, making cactus arms. So we're going to turn the palms inward towards one another, like we're scooping the pinkies in. Yeah. And then try to pull those arms, those hands behind your head if you can. All right. Reaching the arms straight up. Exhale, pulling back and down. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale, back and down. We inhale, reach the arms all the way up, and on our exhale, forward fold. And inhaling halfway, lift flat back. And exhaling, hands to the mat, step or hop the feet back, lowering through your chaturanga. Inhaling through your back bend. And we'll meet in down dog. From downward dog, we'll float the right leg up to the sky. And on the exhale, step the foot forward between our hands, finding our warrior one. So back heel down. Square the hips to the front as we reach those arms up to the sky. Awesome. Now remember when we did our cactus arms that we turned our pinkies inward? We want that same rotation in, like we're scooping the pinkies in. One more breath in our warrior one. And exhaling, hands down to the mat. Stepping back to your plank. You can go through your chaturanga or straight into your down dog. Option is yours from here on out. Yeah. Other side, inhaling the left leg to the sky. And exhale, stepping in between the hands, warrior one. Just like that lunge before, glide that left hip back. Squeeze those glutes on both sides as we extend up. Yeah, now try to keep those ribs knitted together, firming up our abs just like we did in our backs earlier, taking our last two breaths here. And on the exhale, hands come down to the mat. Stepping back into our plank. Taking your chaturanga. Inhaling into our back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. From downward dog, we bend the knees, look between the hands, exhale, step or hop to the front. Inhaling halfway, lift flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bending into the knees, sitting back, we find our chair pose, reaching those arms forward and up. Coming all the way up to stand and releasing the arms. All right, taking one more similar to that. Feet are still wide. We inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, the hands behind our backs, interlace those fingers. We inhale, open the chest. Keep the hands bound in our forward fold. Start to sit the hips deep into our chair, reaching the arms forward and up, taking one breath here. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stepping or hopping the feet back. Lowering through your chaturanga. Inhaling into our back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. Starting with our left leg, we float those left toes to the sky. Exhale, reach, step it forward, finding our warrior one, extending the arms to the sky. So we're gonna play with our arms a little bit again here. So from here, start to bend the elbows and then bring the hands to the small of your back. Now as we do this, if you can, keep them off of your back, but again, reach the arms up to the sky. And then bend the elbows, hands to the small of the back. Last time, inhaling up. Exhale, behind the back. Yeah, reach those arms all the way to the sky and exhaling, hands to the mat. Stepping back into your plank as you lower through chaturanga and meeting in our downward dog. From down dog, we'll float the right leg to the sky and stepping it forward between the hands. Warrior one. So the more we glide that hip back, the more we squeeze that left glute, the more release we start to find on that left hip flexor. All right, just as we did last on the other side, bend the elbows, bring the hands to the small of the back, and then all the way up. Twice more. Go ahead and take that on your own at your pace. And just work into a little shoulder range of motion. Once your arms up on that last time, next exhale, hands come to the mat. Stepping back into our plank as we lower through chaturanga. Inhaling into our back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. From down dog, we bend the knees, look between the hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back. Exhaling, forward fold. Bending into those knees, reaching the arms up to the sky for a chair pose. Inhaling all the way to stand and release the arms. Yeah, so Joyce, you forgot to mention that I muted your mic, so if you need something, just unmute. All righty. So get into a little balance work now. You can have your hands on your hips, at your chest, wherever makes the most sense for you. Let's start to lift that left knee up. And then point those toes straight down to the ground. And now keep that knee lifted. Well, we're going to start to bend into the right knee, leaning forward. And then come all the way up to stand, lifting the knee up. Twice more like that. Bend into both knees, hinging forward. Coming all the way back up. Last time, hinge forward. And up. I know I said last time, but go ahead and hinge forward. And we're going to step that left foot way back. Finding a high lunge, reaching the arms straight up to the sky. Yeah, keep tucking that tailbone under, lifting up the front of your hip bones. You know, keep that back leg straight as we start to lean forward, reach the arms back, pausing here. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhaling, lean forward, engage your belly. Last time, lift those arms up. And then this time, dive forward into our warrior three. And try to square the hips towards the ground, lift the back leg up a little bit more. Now we're going to bend into the right knee. Start to bend into that left knee once again. As we lift our torso, lift the knee up and release it down to the mat. All right, other side. Bending into the right knee. There we go. From here, start to spin into that left knee, leaning forward and all the way back up. Twice more. Hinge and lift. Last time, hinge and lift. Yeah, now this time we hinge, extend that right leg all the way back, finding our high lunge. Awesome. Nice deep inhale. As we exhale, lean forward, reach the arms back, keeping the belly braced. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling forward. Last time, inhale, lift. And as we exhale, dive forward into our warrior three. Can you feel those glutes on that right side? Start to fire up, lift the heel a little bit higher. Start to bend into both knees. Maybe those hands come onto the hips. Lifting the knee all the way up in front of us. Releasing the foot, releasing the arms. Oh, yeah. All right, from the top of our mat. On the inhale, we reach the arms to the sky. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the mat, separate, hop the feet back. Lowering through your chaturanga. Finding your back bend on the inhalation and then exhaling into downward dog. From here, we'll float the right leg up to the sky and then step it forward between the hands as we find our warrior two. Letting those left toes point to the side of the mat, right toes straight forward, arms nice and wide. Nice. We constantly work on pressing that right knee wide, so firm up those glutes. Starting to straighten the front leg, reach both arms to the sky. Exhale into our warrior two. One more time like that. Inhale, straighten it, lift. Exhale down. This time from the hips down, remain the same. On the inhale, reach the right arm up and back for reverse warrior. On our exhale, forearm to thigh, left arm overhead, side angle pose. One more, inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Exhaling, side angle. And coming back up into our warrior two, starting to straighten that front leg. Reaching forward, finding our triangle pose. Now we've got both legs nice and engaged. Think about leaning your shoulders back ever so slightly. And still trying to keep those ribs knitted together, engaging our abdomen for one more breath. Start to look down at the mat. Reach that right hand forward as we get into the knee half moon pose. Lifting that back leg up. Nice, good call on the block. Now, if you want to find our Chapasana, you can bend into that left knee, grab onto the ankle. But once you have it, open up the front of the body once again. Maybe you find a slight back bend for one more breath. Yeah, gently let go of the foot as we step back into our warrior two. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down to the mat. Stepping back into our plank. Now pausing in our plank for just a moment. We're coming into a side plank on our left arm. And so roll into that left hand, right arm up to the sky. Beautiful. Now take that right foot, step it behind your left. Yeah, reach that right arm up and overhead like you're trying to touch a computer screen. Finding a slight back bend. And then with control, making our way into our plank. As we lower through chaturanga. Inhaling into that back bend. And exhaling, downward dog. All right, we'll take 3 more breaths here in our downward dog. Yeah, deep inhalations and long exhalations. All right, from here, we'll inhale the left leg to the sky. Exhale, stepping in between the hands, warrior two. And there's always this balance between finding that place that feels comfortable versus finding that place that allows us to gain a little bit of flexibility in the hip. So that's why we're going to inhale, straighten the leg, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, bend a little bit deeper to the front knee. Once more, inhaling, lift. Exhale, lower, holding here. Now we flip the left palm to the sky, reaching up and back, reverse warrior. Exhaling forward into our side angle pose. One more time, inhale, reverse warrior. Exhaling side angle. Coming into our warrior two, straightening the front leg. Reach forward, shifting those hips back into our triangle pose. So we notice that the knuckle under your big toes are firmly pressed into the ground. Nice, straight, strong legs. Lean those shoulders back. One more breath. And then the right hand may come up to the hip, but lean forward, lifting that right leg up to the sky into our half moon pose. And we want to actually feel the engagement of that outer right hip working to lift that leg up. And if you like, find our Shavasana, bending into the right knee, grabbing the ankle, and then press the hips forward once again. Yeah, really working to kick the foot into the hand, provide a little stability for one more breath. Gently releasing that as we step back into our warrior two. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, wiggle the hands onto the mat. Stepping back and then finding our side plank on the right arm now. Nice, there we go. Actively pushing out of that bottom shoulder. If you want to take it a little bit further, that top foot, step the left foot behind the right. Reach that left arm overhead with the palm facing the ground for one more breath. We find our plank pose, hand back onto the mat. As we lower through chaturanga. Inhaling into our back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. Taking 5 breaths in our down dog. If you want to take a child's pose, you are more than welcome. But in either pose, we maintain those deep inhalations and long exhalations. All right, from child's pose, make our way back up into our downward facing dog. And we shift forward into our plank pose. We're going to take 10 counts to lower all the way down. So it's nice and slow. Starting, we lower down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Hug those elbows in. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're down on the mat. All right, bring those forearms into the mat now. Preparing for our Sphinx pose. So our palms are flat on the ground, forearms are parallel. Go ahead and tuck and press your tailbone down. Find that little spot at the base of your hips. Press it into the mat as we lift our chest up. And not only are we lifting up, but imagine pulling your chest through, puffing up the front of your chest. Making the curve in our spine nice and long. Now notice those shoulder blades. Imagine the shoulder blades pressing into the back. For 2 more breaths. Long spine, long neck. From here, tuck our toes under. And start to hollow out the belly as we find a forearm plank. Straight legs. Flexing those muscles on the front of our legs as well as our glutes and our abs. Holding for 3 more breaths. Last breath here. Slowly lower those knees down and release all the way onto the mat. All right. With the arms back by our sides, we're going to take a round of our locust pose. This one's going to be a little bit longer. So start to lift the chest, lift those legs up. Hug the ankles a little bit closer together. Feel those inner thighs fire out. Now, if you like, you can reach the arms straight out in front of you with the thumbs pointing up to the sky, but look down at the mat for 2 more breaths. And on your exhale, gently lower down. You can make a pillow with your hands, or you can windshield wiper the feet side to side. All right. We're going to make that a little bit bigger now, working towards our our boat pose. So bending into the knees, let's reach back for the outer ankles. Yeah. Awesome. If you're watching the video, if this doesn't work for you, you can always grab a strap or a belt and do the same thing. But walk those knees a little bit closer. Pull those shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades, and then we lift the chest, lift those knees up. Just as before, we imagine kicking our feet into the hand. And don't forget to breathe. And lift those knees up for one more breath. And gently lower back down. You can windshield wiper those legs again if that feels good for you. All right, go ahead and straighten those legs out long. Hands come by the chest. Straighten the legs to lift the knees up. We press all the way up to our plank, finding down dog. From downward dog, on the inhale, we bend the knees, look between the hands, exhale, step or hop forward. Inhaling halfway, lift flat back. Exhaling forward fold. Inhale, we reach the arms all the way to the sky. Exhaling, hands to the heart. And release. All right. Finding our chair pose once again. This will be our last extended flow before we slow it down a little bit. So sitting down and back into our chair, we reach the arms forward and up. All right. From here, just as we did before, start to pull the right heel in towards your butt. Find that balance. You can bring those hands to the hips if you like, but start to lean forward. Yeah, find our one-legged chair, lifting the chest. And again, lean forward, but this time find our warrior three, keeping the left knee bent. To gently step back into our lunge, extending the arms up to the sky. From our lunge, turning those palms forward, start to bend into the elbows, looking up at the sky. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, find that back bend. Inhale, reach all the way up. As we lean forward, finding our warrior three. From our warrior three, start to come up to stand. We're going to grab the outside of that right ankle for our dancer's pose. So lift the left arm to the sky. Start to tilt forward, but kick the foot into the hand. We want to think about more of lifting the back leg than we do leaning forward. One more breath here. Slowly coming all the way up to stand, finding our chair pose, holding here for 3 breaths. From our chair pose, hands come to the hips, lift that left heel up as we gently peck forward and up. Get forward. Pause here, keep the right knee bent, but extend that left leg back. Take the arm variation that feels good for you, and then gently step into our high lunge, arms to the sky. Nice deep inhale. On the exhale, bend the elbows, find the back bend. Once more, inhale, lift. Exhale, back bend. Reach those arms all the way up. As we lean forward into our warrior three. Start to come up to stand, grabbing the outer left ankle. Now imagine trying to keep your knees, hips distance apart as we do this. But reach those right fingertips up to the sky, kick the foot into the hand as we tilt forward for our dancer pose. But keep the belly firm again as though somebody's about to come and jab you in your belly. One more breath. Gently come all the way up to stand. Release the foot, Releasing the arms. From here, we inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the mat, step or hop the feet back. Flowing through your chaturanga. Inhaling into back bend. Exhaling, downward dog. We're going to come to sit on our bums so you can bend the knees. Maybe we drag one knee forward, then the other. Maybe try to hop them through. Nice, whatever works for you. Awesome. I'm telling you, hitting the ground hard is one of the best teachers. All right, so let's come down onto our backs. Actually, we're going to find the bridge pose. We've got 3 rounds of back bends left, and then we'll start our counter poses. So this first one is a bridge pose. There we go. Feet are hips width apart. Go ahead and tuck those shoulder blades under. Starting to lift the hips up to the sky and pausing there. So if you're feeling the weird stuff in your hips or low back, you can turn your toes out slightly. Firm up those glutes, 2 breaths left. And then 1 vertebrae at a time, start to lower all the way down to the mat. And just as we did at the beginning, arch your back. And then lower it back down. All right, you can let the knees collapse in towards one another for a few breaths before we start our second round. All right. As we prepare for our second round of back bends, if you want to take bridge pose again, you're welcome to. If you want to come into wheel pose, I'll talk through that one. So whichever one you're coming into, feet or hip distance apart, go ahead and lift those hips up to the sky. If you're coming into your wheel, hands by the ears, press to the crown of the head first to readjust the hands, and then we extend those arms out long. Deep inhalations, long exhalations for 2 more rounds. And then slowly we start to lower all the way back down onto the mat. All right, again, you can let the knees knock in towards one another. All right, preparing for our final round. And if you're doing bridge once again, feel free to interlace the fingers or even grab hold of the front of the ankles if you'd like to puff up the chest. If that's too much, just make it as mild or as spicy as you want it. All right, so let's go ahead and lift those hips up for our final back bend. Even taking that wheel pose if you like. Wherever you are, still finding that place where you can breathe. Making each exhalation longer than the inhalation for 3 more breaths. And then we slowly lower all the way back down. And this time we bring the knees into the chest, giving them a little hug, gently rocking from side to side. And from here, finding our happy baby pose, letting those knees go wide. You can grab hold anywhere between the knees and your feet, but press your tailbone down into the ground. You want to feel the arch of your lower back this time. And you're welcome to take whatever movements feel good. A little rock or even staying perfectly still. All right, making our way up to seated. From there, onto all fours. All right. So we're making our way towards a pigeon pose. If you prefer to come into it from your down dog, you're more than welcome, but let's slide that right knee forward towards the right wrist and letting the shin cross the body. You're welcome to stay up on your hands, or you can lower into your forearms. But we want to keep those hips square to the ground and always working towards that place where we can find a sense of ease. Noticing if we're clenching in the jaw, the face, the hands, or even the hips, and finding what we can soften. Final 5 breaths. Making our way back up onto the hands. We're going to sit onto that right hip and swing the left leg out long in front. Awesome. So sole of the foot comes into the inner thigh, left leg is out long. We turn our chest towards those toes. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, folding forward as much as you can with a flat back. And so if you need to, you're welcome to bring a little bend into the knee. Keeping that right shoulder down for 2 more breaths. And on our inhale, we find the flat back coming all the way back upright. We're going to take that right foot, crossing it over the left thigh. You're welcome to take the half variation. If you want to bend into that left knee, you're welcome to. There we go. All right, right hand comes behind us. The left arm comes to the outside of the right knee. Every inhale, we sit up a little bit taller. Every exhale, we twist a little bit further. Keep pressing those hip bones down into the ground. Last breath. On our inhale, the hands come all the way over to the left side, bowing gently forward. And as we come back up, we unwind. And then, however you want to, making our way back onto all fours. Once you're in your tabletop, go ahead and take 3 rounds of your cat and cow pose. Make them as big or as small as you need. All right. From here, making our way into pigeon pose on the left side, either from your down dog or from tabletop. I'm one of those people who will always take a few extra moments to get into my pigeon pose. So once you have it, find that place that feels good. And then imagine every exhalation softening some part of our bodies, surrendering into this hip opener. Five breaths to go. From our pigeon, start to walk those hands back in under the shoulders as we sit onto the left hip, swinging the right leg out in front of us. Starting with our Janu Shirshasana, sole foot in the inner right thigh. Square those shoulders towards the right toes as we inhale tall and exhale, fold over. Once again, if you like to, you can bring a little bend into the knee if that's what your body needs. But keep that left shoulder down, working to press that left knee down. One more breath here. Finding a flat back as we come all the way back upright. All right, finding our twist here, crossing the left foot over the right thigh. Either taking this variation or bending into the right knee as well. The left hand comes behind us, sliding the right elbow to the outside of the knee. And once again, every inhale, we sit up a little taller. Every exhale, we twist a little bit further. Last 2 breaths here. And on our inhale, hands come over to the right side as we bow gently forward. And once we come back up, uncrossing the legs, let's extend both legs out long this time. Flexing those toes back towards your face, finding a forward fold. So inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, folding over those legs. Again, you can bend into the knees. You can use whatever props you have nearby. But just as before, finding a sense of softness, relaxing those shoulders. Last 3 breaths. On our next inhale, we come halfway up, find that flat back as we make it all the way upright. And then we bend into the knees, sitting up nice and tall, reaching those fingertips out long. So keep those shoulders pulled back and down. And slowly hollow out the belly, rounding the chin in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, we hollow out. We're gonna go ahead and lift one more time. And extend those legs out, hands by our sides. The last thing that we'll do before we go onto our backs is, I'm a huge fan of engaging anything that we spend a lot of time stretching. So we're gonna re-engage the low belly and hip flexors as we make our way down. So either with the hands right here by your sides or reaching the arms up and overhead. We're just gonna lift that right leg up and down 10 times. Ready? And here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, left leg, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come by our sides, fingers pointing outwards. Good. Let's bring the feet flat, lift the hips to the sky for our inverted tabletop. And go ahead and slowly lower those hips down as we lower all the way onto our backs, knees into the chest. Gently rocking from side to side. All right. With those feet flat on the ground, let's open the arms wide into a T. Scooting the hips over to the left side of your mat, letting the knees fall to the right for a reclining twist. If there's any other variation that you prefer, you're more than welcome to take it. Last 2 breaths. And on our next inhale, we'll come back into center. Scooting the hips over to the right side of your mat. Letting the knees fall to the left or taking whatever variation you took on the other side. Last 2 breaths here. And slowly we come back into center. We'll give those knees one last little hug. If there's any other posture that you want to take before we take our Shavasana, you are more than welcome. We'll give it 60 seconds. I'll let you know where the halfway point is. So sometimes maybe either another twist if that feels good, or a shoulder stand if you feel prepared for it. Maybe even another happy baby pose. This is that nice time where you get to not have to think and just do what your body says feels good. Even if that's an early Shavasana. If you are in the video, go ahead and make your way back down onto your mat. And then once you arrive, we'll make our way into our Shavasana. So the feet are as wide as your mat, or wider or more narrow, whatever feels good in your body. Tucking the shoulder blades under. And if there's anything touching us, feel free to just move it out of your way. And from this place of stillness, of softness, we'll begin to scan the body, starting by relaxing each and every toe on the feet, as well as the soles of the feet and the ankles. Noticing the softness of the calves, the shins, and letting that softness travel up through the legs as we relax the thighs and our glutes. Noticing that gentle, unlabored rise and fall of the belly and the chest. Working to find a sense of softness on the back, from the low back through the mid, all the way up to the upper back. Relaxing the fingers and the hands. Letting go of any effort in the arms and the shoulders. As we relax the jaw, letting the tongue float freely in the mouth. And smoothing out the wrinkles across the bridge of the nose, the brow, and the forehead. And if you find your mind wandering, you can bring your attention to the bottom of your nose, watching each cool inhalation pass into the nostrils, and the warmth of each exhalation as it passes back out. And as we take our last few breaths here in stillness, begin to scan the body once again from the crown of the head to the soles of your feet. Just noticing, how does your body feel in this moment? Beginning to tune into the mind and notice, how do we feel mentally in this moment? Maybe even comparing it to how we felt when we started the practice. And slowly we start to bring movement back into our fingers and toes, circling into the wrists and the ankles. And as we take a nice deep inhale, we reach the arms and legs nice and long for a big stretch. Exhaling the knees in as we roll onto our right side, pausing in our fetal position for a moment. Using this opportunity to give ourselves some words of either affirmation, reaffirming some trait or some quality that we're trying to embody, or even using an opportunity to encourage ourselves to accomplish whatever it is that we're working towards. Give yourself the words that you need to hear. And then holding on to whatever you gave yourself as we slowly press up to a comfortable seat. All right. Once we're sitting up nice and tall, one last time we inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, palms going to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you, Joe, for coming in, sharing your hour with me. Thank you for anyone who's tuning in and watching this. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. It was a pleasure